who would benefit most from the system? I mean, obviously, people who are working and busy and managers, but what about like moms, busy moms?
The people who benefit the most are the people who could most utilize more space, more room. I mean, how much time does it take to have a good idea? 0. How much time does it take to be present with your kids? 0. How much time does it take to be loving or to do anything essentially that has quality to it in terms of what you produce in the moment? That doesn't require time, but what it does require is room. Very hard to be present with your kids when you got a whole bunch of stuff for the last 2 weeks piled up in your desk that are yelling at you psychologically. Very hard to be present with your strategic plan rewrite if you got a whole bunch of other stuff that you're not managing or handling that keep distracting you from what you're doing. So anybody who could use more room and more clarity so that they can be free about what they're doing. So a 24-year-old rock musician, we've got one who's a huge champion of my stuff, is going to use space much differently than a 55-year-old CEO, and we've got a bunch of those, who will use space otherwise. The rock musician will use space to maybe think of more songs to write and finish them. The 53-year-old executive may use more space to figure out more strategic ways to manage the merger that he or she is involved in. So, but they both need space. But those will be the people who will be take the most advantage of this, because what this does is it relieves drag on the system. It relieves that stuff that's distracting and pulling on your energy so that you can truly have a lot more freedom and clarity to focus on the most meaningful things. Mm-hmm. But that's very different. So we have 8-year-old kids doing this, and we have CEOs of major corporations doing this. Interestingly, it's the same methodology, very different content, obviously, and very different use of what you'll do once you have that freedom. But that's really what this is about.